Hello, students. My name is Dr. Jessica Gallucci, and I am the Discipline Chair for Political Science at Chabot College. And I'm here today to speak to you guys about the degree that we have here for political science majors. It's the Political Science Associate of Arts for Transfer degree. And that's a mouthful, but I'll be talking to you guys about what that's comprised of and what the Associate's degree for transfer is all about. If you're already watching this video, chances are that you're kind of into politics. Why else would you decide to at least contemplate majoring in political science? So why is it that you like politics? Each one of us is going to have a different response. Some of us are coming from places of excitement about change in the political process. Some of us are angry about the state of the world today politically. Others of us really just kind of want to try to see how we can use the levers of power that exist in our society to help others. And there are any series of reasons why people get into politics, and they're all good reasons and they're all valid reasons. It's important to think about what it is that got you to this place as you contemplate making a big step in deciding what you're going to study. And, was there any particular thing that actually motivated you to consider political science as a major of study? A lot of people major in political science because they know they want to go to law school, and they know that political science is the most common degree that people get as they're going into law school. Of course, you don't have to get a degree in political science to go to law school, but a lot of folks do. Some folks want to run for office. Some folks want to work in city government. Some people just want to make sure that people in their community are more engaged and more linked in with the structures of governance in our society. And another important thing to ask yourself is what it is that you want to do with your political science major. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the potential options in a moment. There's a lot of different reasons why people decide to major in political science, but a lot of times it really kind of boils down to one common theme. It's that people are really interested in making a change, whether it be making a change in their local community, making a change nationally, or even getting into the international political arena. There's so many different ways that you can make a change through the political science major. A lot of folks want to work in government. Some folks want to run for office. Some folks want to work for elected officials. Some people want to work for government agencies, like working for the Department of Education, working for the Department of Health, working for the Parks District, right? Politics and politicians deal with all of those different areas. And a lot of people, they choose political science as a degree to kind of get into the governmental space. But that's not just it. A lot of folks go on ahead and work in campaigns. There's a lot of money in political campaigns. I don't know if you guys have heard the news, but there's a lot of work for people that are interested in helping to support candidates in campaigns, doing polling, working on advertising, working in community mobilization. A lot of folks are really interested in that area. A lot of folks want to work in law. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Once again, there's a really close connection between studying politics and studying the law. Really, it is in the political arena that our laws are made. There's quite a few political science majors that go on to work in journalism, particularly journalism that impacts looking at governmental structures. The degrees are so linked that I'll give you guys an example. At Sacramento State University, there's actually a bachelor's degree in political science with a focus on political journalism. You guys can clearly imagine why the two of those different fields are closely linked. A lot of people want to go on ahead and work in community-based organizations, working in nonprofit organizations, working in their local community, working with nonprofits that try and do political research, that try and influence elected officials, that try and bring in data and bring in studies that can help politicians to craft legislation in the way that they think best impacts the community. A lot of people get into political science because they want to teach political science, like me, and a lot of people do a political science major because they want to teach social studies, right? Teaching in a high school setting or in a middle school setting, teaching social studies. And there's a lot of jobs in business actually for political science majors, people getting into the government relations offices of different companies, or working in public relations. And there's a whole series of other types of organizations that do research on political issues, think tanks, different research organizations, organizations that do polling. There's a lot of work also in the research space. One other fun fact about majoring in political science is that political science majors have the highest mid-career salaries for any major that is not in science and tech in the USA. So amongst all liberal arts degrees, political science is the major that leads to the highest mid-career salaries, and the mid-career average salary for political science majors in the USA is this was from 2020, $133,000. That's from payscale.com. So not only can you make a change, you can also make some money. So win-win. Let's get into the nitty-gritty and talk about the associate's degree in political science here at Chabot. The political science degree here at Chabot is an associate's of arts degree for transfer, or the AAT. And these associate degrees for transfer are a new type of degree, not new, a relatively new type of degree that has been created in the state of California. And these degrees have been created to kind of create a pretty close linkage between the community college system and the California State University system. And the tagline for these degrees is a degree with a guarantee. And the reason why they call it that is because there's several different guarantees that an AAT can give you if you are planning to transfer to a California State University. So off the bat, if you have an AAT degree in a particular major, you are guaranteed transfer admission to at least one CSU in the system, as long as you complete the degree and have a degree in good standing. This is true for most colleges in the state and for most majors, but there are some colleges and there are some degrees where the political science, there are some colleges and there are some degrees where having an AAT does not guarantee you admission because the particular major is impacted. For example, I know that that's true of psychology at some different schools and some other majors. As of now, I've not heard of that being the case for political science anywhere. So pretty much I think that you'll be okay. I'm speaking now in 2021. Another guarantee that the AAT gives you is that it guarantees that once you transfer over to the CSU, that you will only have to take 60 units before you get your bachelor's degree. So in previous years, what's happened to some students is that they get an associate's degree from a community college, and then they go to the CSU, and the campus might say, oh no, you have to retake all these different classes. So it ends up that students end up having to take more than 60 units to actually graduate. And as long as you have an AAT in an aligned field, they cannot make you take more than 60 units before you get your bachelor's degree. But there is one important thing to remember, that you have to be sure that your AAT, so in our case it would be political science, AAT, is aligned with the degree that you want to go into. So if you want to go on to get a AAT in if you want to go on ahead and get a bachelor's degree in political science, when you transfer, those degrees are all aligned. But at some different schools, you have a little bit more options. So for example, I know that at Cal State East Bay, you can get an AAT in political science, and you can go into political science, or you can go into ethnic studies or some other different majors. So you're going to want to really check and make sure that the AAT in political science at Chabot is aligned. And there's an easy way to do that. You go to the website icangotocollege.com/transfer-tool, and then you follow the process. It's a super easy little website that'll take you through, and just make sure that the degree that you want to go to is aligned. But if you're trying to get a bachelor's degree in political science, they're pretty much all aligned. You might be asking yourself, well, why do I even need to get an associate's degree? And that's a really good question. You don't necessarily need to get one. You can just transfer without getting an associate's degree. But there's a few different reasons why you might want to go on ahead and do it. For example, if you're not going to be going to a CSU, you might say, look, I have no intention of transferring to a CSU. I know I want to go to AUC, or I want to go to a HBCU. The UCs are actually working right now on aligning with the different AATs, or they may even be creating a UC specific associate's degree for transfer. So that's something to look at closely. And also there are several HBCUs that are historically Black colleges and universities that are aligning with the AAT. So it's not just for the CSU. Another important thing to think about is what's the point of not getting an additional degree for your resume. You might pick one up on your way out of Chabot. A lot of times students will get an associate's degree because they know that when they transfer, they're still going to be working, and they'd like to kind of have a degree on their transcript, on their resume, so that they can maybe get a little bit better job when they transfer, and have a little bit better of a part-time or full-time job that you're doing while you're at the CSU or while you're at the UC working towards your bachelor's degree. Another important thing to note is that you never know what's going to happen, and it's good to have the AAT in your back pocket just in case you ever need to take a break from higher education. I've had students who maybe a family member falls ill, maybe they decide to start their family at that stage, and they kind of take a break from higher education. And if they didn't get the associate's degree, all they have on their resume at that stage is high school diploma, and they did a whole lot of work towards getting an associate's degree, but maybe they were missing 1 or 2 classes. So it might be a good idea to just kind of get that in your back pocket just in case something unexpected happens. But I really want to also emphasize that you don't have to get an AAT in order to transfer, right? It's a good option, but if getting an AAT means you're going to have to take a bunch of different classes and that's going to slow you down towards transferring, remember that transferring really is the #1 goal. So you don't really need to get it, but there's a lot of good reasons to do it. But if it's going to keep you at Chabot for an additional semester or an additional year, my advice would be go on ahead and transfer. So how do you get an AAT in political science? I'm going to walk you through the different coursework that you have to take. So there's 4 different components of the AAT in political science. The first one is to take 1 required course in List A. The second one, you're going to take 3 courses from List B. List C, you will pick 2 courses from a wide array of courses, and then you'll have to go on ahead and get your general education requirements fulfilled, whether you use the IGETC or the CSU pathway. This might all sound like a bunch of strange language to you, so I will walk you through each component of the degree on the following slides. So List A is simple. You're going to take 1 class. This class is required for every single political science major, and that is Introduction to American Government, Political Science 1. There's pretty much every single transfer trying to get into a bachelor's degree in political science will have to take this class, and it's a good idea to take this class as soon as possible. This is the foundational class for a political science degree. Go on ahead and enroll in Introduction to American Government. So List B is slightly more complicated. In this list, there are 4 different options of courses that you can take, and you're going to pick 3 of those options. So the first course that you can choose is Political Science 20, Comparative Politics. In this class, you are going to be studying the mostly the domestic politics of different countries around the world and comparing different political systems and different political institutions and different political structures. Political Science 25 is the second option, and that is Introduction to Political Theory, where you'll be studying an array of different political theories throughout the long history of political philosophy. Option 3 is Political Science 30, International Relations. Well, you'll really be discussing the different ways that countries interact with each other in foreign policy and supranational governance. And the 4th option is Statistics. And there are 3 different classes that you can select to fulfill this 4th option, the Statistics option. Those classes are Psychology 5, Introduction to Statistics for Behavioral or Social Sciences, or you can pick Math 43, Introduction to Probability and Statistics, or you can select Business 19, which is a business statistics class. You can pick any of those three. It doesn't matter which one. One other thing to note, however, is that it's a good idea for your three options to include statistics, because if you do that, you will be also fulfilling the GE requirement, the general education requirement for mathematics. That way you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. You're getting your math requirement done, and you are getting one of the List B requirements done for the political science major. So that's really definitely something to consider. Now, you don't have to do this. You could take a different mathematics class, but chances are once you transfer, you'll have to take a statistics class once you get there. But some people prefer to do that. They prefer to just get it done once they transfer. It's actually up to you, but if you want to get an associate's degree for transfer in political science, you have to pick 3 of these 4 options. Next, you're going to have to take 2 classes from this list, List C. You can pick any class, any of the 2 classes that you want. It's completely up to you. So one of the options that you can select is to complete the 4th option from List B that we just talked about, that you didn't already complete for List B. And a lot of students will do that. They'll do the statistics class, and they'll also take all 3 of those political science classes that are listed. A reason why a lot of students do that is because a lot of schools that you transfer to will require you to have taken those classes. So instead of taking them once you transfer, you'll just take them here at Chabot and you get it done with. But there are other options that you can select. You can take Introduction to California State and Local Government, Political Science 12. This is a great option for people who are transferring to California State University East Bay, because that is an important class that you have to take if you're going to be a Poli Sci major at East Bay. Another class you can take is Politics of Race and Gender. This class is a great one because it will help you to fulfill the American Institutions requirement for the California State University. As long as you take Poli Sci 1, Intro to American Government, and you take Poli Sci 35, Politics of Race and Gender, then you will have completed your American Institutions requirement, and you don't have to take any history classes. That class will start to be offered in the 2022-2023 school year. Another class that will be offered in the 2022-2023 academic year is Introduction to Public Policy. Hopefully we're able to offer that class because we get enough students to enroll. But there's a lot of other options that you can select that are outside of political science. Introduction to Ethnic Studies, Ethnic Studies 1, that's a great class, and it also meets the Area F Ethnic Studies requirement. That's going to be a new requirement for the CSU. You can take Cultural Geography in the Geography department, Social and Cultural Anthropology. You can take Cultures of the U.S. in Global Perspective, which is an anthropology class. You can take the Sociology class, Social Problems, Introduction to Race and Ethnic Relations. In Sociology, you can take an Intercultural Communications class. In Comm Studies, you can take Principles of Microeconomics or Principles of Macroeconomics. So you have a whole lot of options there of different classes that you can select to fulfill List C. So you're only going to need 2 classes from this long list, and it's up to you. Finally, you're going to have to fulfill the general education requirements for a degree or for transfer. If you're going to be transferring to a CSU or a UC, you're going to need to fulfill your general education requirements no matter whether or not you decide to do an Associate's of Arts for transfer degree. The IGETC general education requirements are good for transferring to either a CSU campus or a UC campus. So if you do that IGETC requirement, you're going to keep yourself open to every potential option to be able to transfer anywhere you want. The CSU general education requirements are only for the CSU. You can only transfer to a CSU campus if you've done those general education requirements, and you can find out more information about the IGETC and the CSU general education requirements at this link below. I know it's a little bit long. You can also just go to Google and type in Chabot College GE requirements, and it'll pop up at the top of your search page. So if you've decided that you're going to go on ahead and major in political science, make sure that you declare political science as your major, and that's pretty easy to do. You're going to go to the website chabotcollege.edu/admissions/forms, find the form called Major Declaration and Change of Primary Campus Form. You can see it right here, and print it out. Fill out the form, and then you're going to select the code 2228 if you decide to get the degree in political science by fulfilling the CSU general education requirements, or fill out 2233 if you're going to be doing the IGETC general education requirements. Fill that form out. You're going to sign it at the bottom, and you will take it to admissions and records on the ground floor of the 700 building on the Chabot campus. Or if you want, you can also leave it under my door in building 400. Let's say that you go to the 700 building, there's a big long line, you don't want to have to deal with it. You can slip it under my door in building 400, room 404B, and I'll take it over to the faculty window where I can just drop things off really quickly. So make sure that you go on ahead and do that. That way you've at least gotten off the ground, your major is properly declared, and you'll get all the information that you need from the political science department, because we'll know that you're a major. Any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can email me at jgalucci@chabotcollege.edu, and we can set up a time for you to come to office hours. I can send you the link to sign up for an office hours appointment. I love to see political science majors during office hours. We can talk about anything that you guys want, about the degree, about transfer, about careers, about really whatever you're interested in as it relates to majoring in political science. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or you want to chat. So thanks so much for listening. I am really looking forward to having you as a student in the political science department. Hope to see you in class, or hope to see you in office hours soon. Take care.